Alrighty. Hey there, true believers, and welcome to episode 23 of the Marvel Mondays initiative here on the Penultimate Conquest. Today's topic is our discussion of Thor, the Dark World, as part of our MCU in Rewind series. But we're getting a little bit ahead of myself. I gotta introduce myself first. For those of you who don't know me, I'm your... I'm reading the wrong intro here. The curator of cinema and host for the evening, Cristian Macias. And alongside me today is the friendly neighborhood co-host of all things Marvel and Destiny, Eric Segan. How are you today?
I am good. Tessa went to go have dinner with some friends who are throwing the baby shower for her, and she brought me home some Orleans shrimp and grits. So I'm very ready to eat that after this episode.
Shrimp and grits. I have not
hmm
heard of this combo before. I'm assuming it's good. Comfort
Yes,
food.
it's very good. It depends on where you get it, but the place that she gets it from, it's very good. They like this nice. I don't do much spicy stuff because my body doesn't handle it that well, but this Cajun sauce they have, it's got a nice. It's one of those things where I hate it when people say that something super spicy that's the flavor. I'm like, no, that's not the flavor. But this one has a nice flavor to spice ratio where it's like, okay, this is really good. So
I,
I'm very ready to have it.
I love a subtle heat element. I won't lie to you, Eric.
Yeah.
I'll admit it. You'll notice, friends watching, that Ruben is not here today. He had some personal stuff he had to take care of. We miss you, Ruben. Love you.
We love you, Ruben.
But until then, we got some updates for the week for you. Assuming all goes to plan, we got a slew of shows for you for the rest of the week. Tuesday, tomorrow, we're recording an episode of the Cross Media Show with a review of Free Guy. Thursday, if all is looking well, we'll have the Penultimate Games Show with a recap of the Pokemon Presents live stream. And then Ruben finally got his graphics card in, so we're gonna hope that he's able to stream some PC games starting very soon. Maybe some Splitgate thrown in there, some more MCC, Phasmophobia. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But until then, stay tuned.
Saw that Free Guy yesterday. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I recommend.
I would recommend it. The first half is not great, but the second half is when it really hits home.
Okay.
It's really good. The trailers were bad for this movie. I'm going to be honest. The trailers for this movie were very bad, but this movie's got actually a surprising amount of heart. So, and
I,
Ryan Reynolds is just fun to watch. So,
I would have loved if that movie was able to stream like from home, to be honest. Like, I'm not rushing out to go to the theater for this one.
yeah.
I will be rushing out for another movie we're going to bring up in just a second. But before then, we've got the Marvel news of the week for you. Let me tell you, got quite a few items here for you today.
Yay.
It's just us two, so I think we can start off with just a short discussion. The first episode of What If premiered last week. I want your 30-second review of the episode. Again, it was Captain Carter was the
Yeah.
episode.
Let's see. Let me get a timer going so I can do this for actually 30
It doesn't have to be 30 seconds. You can go a little bit longer.
So it was fun. I know we saw trailers, but seeing the animation style in an episode, I really grew on the animation because when it first started, I'm like, oh, this animation doesn't look that great. Actually, seeing an episode wasn't that bad. I liked it. It was fun. It was just like, what if Peggy was Captain Carter? So that it was fun seeing her beat up Nazis. That's always great. It was good that Dominic Cooper came back. Let's see. I really liked Josh Keaton as Steve. I
Same.
thought he was good. I'm sorry, Sebastian Stan, but it really sounded like he phoned that one in.
Oh, dude,
Oh
I
man,
know. Yeah, it was you could tell, but it was fine.
yeah, it was good. It was fun. 30-minute episode of just little subtle differences here and there, but I liked it. It's a good start to a bunch of cool little stories. I'm glad it's 30 minutes. I'm glad each
Yeah.
episode's like 30 minutes. I think that's gonna be fun.
That said, like, first of all, I really enjoy the animation style as well. I know a few people didn't, and I don't understand why they didn't, because like it's just the medium. Like, it looks fine, you know. It gets the message across, and it's just a fun cartoon. But to your second point, I wish the first episode was a bit different. Like, Captain Carter obviously rules as like a character. I think she's really cool, but I think like the first half of the episode was basically just Captain America 1, and having to rush through that. So I think the
Yeah.
later half of the episode kind of struggled for me. But from what I hear, the next two are supposed to be pretty good. And then Disney, I think, or Marvel dropped that the next episode is about T'Challa. So
Yep.
that should be fun. And that drops
Yeah.
tomorrow night.
Yep. I'm very excited about that.
Sweet. There we have it. Ringing endorsement from Cristian and Eric today.
Yeah, I think this is good because I know we as a show we're not doing episodes of What If, we're not doing reviews like we were with WandaVision and all that stuff. So I think going forward when we have these, just a nice 30-second thing because we still don't. They say it's canon, it's not canon. Who cares really? But yeah, it's a fun show. So
I forget his name, but I know he's in what's the HBO show with like the
Westworld.
Westworld as the Watcher. He does a great job.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love his voice. Our next bit of Marvel news: tickets for Shang-Chi are available right now, starting today for pre-order. So make sure to get yours today if you feel comfortable going to the theater in this Delta environment. Mask up if you are planning to go.
I do have something about this actually.
Oh, sure.
So obviously, there's a lot going on with Disney right now. Disney and Marvel probably a little butting of heads at the moment. With Scarlett Johansson stuff. So I remember that this was like 3 days ago. Bob Chapek, the CEO of Disney right now, he called this because they said, Shang-Chi is still going to be in theaters, 45 days exclusive window. And then he called this movie an experiment, like to see, like, okay, we'll see how this goes with like 45 days, how we feel about it. And that kind of rubbed some of the cast members the wrong way. I know Simu Liu, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Simu Liu.
I think you could, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he was like, he went out, he said, like, we are not an experiment and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. Like, because I think that it's tough already because this movie is going to do wonders in terms of representation for the MCU, just like Black Panther was. This movie is going to do hopefully lots of good things for representation for the Asian community. And to come out and say like, oh yeah, this movie's just an experiment. Like, no, this movie's not an experiment. This movie's going to mean a lot to a lot of people. So like Bob Chapek, the CEO, I'm not liking him whatsoever. Like I know we discussed this in the Facebook group. Like he's definitely like the numbers guy. Like so a typical CEO, yeah. But I feel as though he doesn't really care about the creative side, which is a bummer because I know like CEOs are going to be different. Like one CEO and another CEO are going to be different. I felt as though like Bob Iger, sometimes his faults, he still cared about the stuff Disney was making, and like I don't know, I felt more welcome to listen to him because he had like that nice, all right, sit down, son, we're gonna have a chat. Whereas Bob Chapek is just cold and again, I don't personally know the guy, but this is just everything we see of him. It's just paint by the numbers CEO, and it's just Shang-Chi's not an experiment. Please go see it so we can get more cool stuff like this. I'm very ready for this movie.
Yeah, like you said, I know you say in the Facebook group, you and Tessa are pretty adamant, like about Bob Chapek, that he's just a very much by the numbers guy. You guys talked about how he is like previously he ran the parks, yeah,
yes,
yeah. So he's all about numbers, and like for sure, I'm sure that's what he meant when he said like the experiment, talking about like the release, like the 45-day window from like theaters and then moving to like streaming platforms, and like we know that's what he meant, but like there are connotations there clearly about like race for the characters and the cast that are this movie, like for sure would rub some folks the wrong way because again, like you mentioned, this movie's more than just an experiment. It's about representation and like what it means for the Asian community finally getting a lead role. A Marvel movie, like a tentpole movie, means a lot to so many people. It's like akin to like a Black Panther. So to call it an experiment just takes so much away from them, and it shouldn't. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I didn't see that. That's awesome. That's get Bob out of here. Get Chapek out of here.
Yeah.
Next, we're gonna turn to look at some rumors from the Reality Stone. I needed a good tagline for our little rumor mill here. This was a rumor, but apparently is now confirmed to be true. This comes from 5150 Amrit on Twitter, who tweeted, Spider-Man No Way Home trailer is currently being dubbed over in India. So my question is, do you believe that? And then, if so, how soon do we see a trailer?
I don't know. I think we gotta see one because at this point, like we talked about last week, like I'm really tired of talking about this trailer.
Yeah.
Like release it or not, it's fine. Like obviously, like going into this, like this movie is reaching hype levels like unseen we've seen before in quite some time, probably since Endgame. We've like a movie this hype with just so what, like what could happen. And at this point, it's just like I think we're gonna get it before Shang-Chi. I think you got to put it before that movie, because when Shang-Chi comes out, that's 3 months until Spider-Man comes out, and we have nothing. So I don't
Mm.
know. It's just
That said, if they're still like in the process of, you know, getting the trailer ready to drop, I don't see them, even doing like a teaser like ready to go by the time Shang-Chi is out. I mean, if that movie, like those like tapes, I don't know, the film needs to go out to the theaters like very soon, and then screeners go out, right? So yeah, I don't see a trailer being ready to go by it's before September 3rd. So
yeah.
I mean,
I don't
next
know.
month though, right?
Yeah, I need to see. I I just want to be a fly in the wall of the marketing rooms when like trying to figure out what the fuck are we gonna do? Because obviously a big thing we don't like Delta variant
Yeah.
and stuff coming out. So we don't like there's the rumors and speculation that No Way Home's getting delayed. So
Fuck. This poor movie. It's just never
get
gonna come out.
vaccinated, people. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it'll come out with the Venom. Let There Be Carnage. Let's drop a
Yeah,
trailer there.
let's go.
Some more rumors here for you. Sources have not confirmed it, but we'll see if it's true or not. We may have gotten our first look at the titular Moon Knight suit over on Twitter. And I got to pull this tweet up again. I need to take another look. Eric, what do you think of the suit?
It looks so good. It looks so good. Like oh man. Just got the moon and everything. It looks like a mummy, which is really cool. It's scary looking. Like this thing showed up, tried to beat the crap out of you. I'd be terrified. I like the white eyes. Obviously, that's probably VFX. It's probably
Yeah.
not how the costume really looks. I like the hood. I like this. So if it's fake, man, they missed out on a good opportunity because that's really good looking. That's a really good looking suit.
We are missing a cape, but I think it works here with like just the hood. I think that's like a cool like you. I don't think the cape is necessary. The thing that was like a surprise to me is the suit isn't white. Like I
Mhm.
know I haven't read Moon Knight comics, but like from what I've seen throughout, like I was introduced to Moon Knight like via like just a bunch of YouTube videos, just like watching videos about Moon Knight. And from
Mhm.
my understanding, his suit was always white. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
it's like yeah, so there's a lot of different variations. There's like the pure white, and then
Oh, the white and
you've
black
got some
one.
runs. Yeah, there's some where it's a little darker gray right here. So, and it could be just this photo. This photo could just be this could be like a is the dress yellow or gold situation where we're looking at this. It could be like very white. And it could be just a bad photo, but
That's true.
we'll see.
But I also love like the mask covering his face, and like you said,
Mm,
the crest of the half moon, like
mm.
at the center of the hood. Yeah, it's cool. I made the joke Dune Knight over on the little messenger group because it reminds me a little bit of the Dune suit and of the new Dune that's coming out this year in little ways. It's mostly just like the gray color scheming and a lot of like patterns like on the chest area, but it is a cool suit. Even if it is fake, it's a very cool suit indeed.
Did you see how Ethan Hawke got in the movie
Oh, dude,
or the
you tell it.
show?
You tell it. Yeah, great story.
Yeah. So apparently, they were just chilling. I forget where it was. This is, I'm paraphrasing here, but apparently Oscar Isaac was walked into a coffee shop or something. Ethan Hawke was there. And like, hey, I like that you in this. Hey, I liked you in this. Hey, you want to do Moon Knight? Sure.
Dude, I love those two guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. What an awesome way to like get Ethan Hawke into Moon
Yeah.
Knight. Oh, I love you, Oscar Isaac, as well. Finally, that leads us to our last bit of news. Actually, I'm saving this. I almost forgot. I'm saving this
Mm,
for actual discussion when we
okay.
actually start. So keep an eye on some Alan Taylor news that broke just yesterday or 2 days ago. So
hmm I saw that.
for now, we're getting into our topic of the show, which is, of course, Thor: The Dark World. Released.
Here we go.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Released on November 8th, 2013, with a budget of around $170 million and a box office of $644.8 million, which doesn't sound a lot comparatively, but it is not a box office flop, according to, I don't know, analysts, what you want to call them. It did well. It tripled its money about-ish, so not a flop. Before we get started, we usually start with kind of a theater experience of the MCU movie. Do you remember yours for this one?
I don't really.
Me
I
either.
really don't.
Me either.
I remember going to see it, and I remember I saw it in theaters. I don't remember how I felt about it at the time. So, but yeah, that's what happened. I
That's
just went to go see it.
that speaks volumes about the movie, if I'm being honest. I remember before the movie released, there was like rumors on Twitter and like just online in general that like, yeah, Thor supposedly gets his arm cut off in this movie. I remember thinking, no way, that sounds so insane. I can't believe they're gonna do that. And I mean, we'll get into it. They do it, but
Yeah.
like, oh, it's this kind of way. Interesting. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So 60-second review of the movie. Just some quick fire thoughts. What is it good? Is it bad? How does this movie fare out this time around for you?
Okay. So I did like a full like MCU watch last year during the pandemic. So I pretty much have they're all pretty much fresh in my brain. Obviously I'm probably gonna watch Winter Soldier before we do Winter Soldier episode, because obviously Winter Soldier is great. With this
Yeah.
movie though, it's okay. That's it. I don't think it's a bad movie at all. It's entertaining. It is to the bottom of my list. I think. Let me check. Um,
Oh, do you have a current ranking, or is this your previous ranking that you
Yeah,
did?
this is my current. All right, so I have it third from the bottom. Dark World.
So I'm
It's not.
assuming that's over Hulk,
Yeah,
probably, and then
yeah,
one other one.
Captain Marvel. But
Oh, okay, okay.
so so yeah, this is okay. Like there are a lot of forgettable things about this movie. Very much. We'll get into those parts. Best parts, Loki. Loki parts in this movie are the best
Hmm.
parts, and that's I think for me that's why it's not a, you know the worst of the MCU, because the Loki parts were really good, um, and they were just sprinkled in there between all the. Eh.
Yeah, the title I
Oh.
put for this underneath discussion questions is a bad movie with some good scenes.
Mhm. I
I
yeah,
and bad is a
I'd go okay.
stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because again, the cinematography for the movie is actually like really good. Like the color
Mhm.
grading is fantastic. I still think the visual effects stand up very well, and we'll get into some specifics a little just in just a bit. Um, but I do think it's probably the most forgettable of a lot of the MCU movies. Sadly, like the first Thor 1 and 2. I think I much rather enjoy the first Thor a lot more than this one, if I'm being honest. But this was a struggle for me to get through last night. I had to break it up and start it again this morning, and I was like,
Mhm.
wow, I don't even remember it being like this like much of a drag to watch. Like I think I enjoyed watching Hulk a bit more, even though I think this is the better movie.
I remember there was an article back in like, dude, God, this was late 2012. I remember reading an article saying how like Man of Steel and Thor: The Dark World were the biggest movies for these franchises right now, because Man of Steel had to launch this thing for the DCEU, and Thor: The
Mm,
Dark World had to prove like, okay, how can Marvel, obviously the Iron Man movies are super successful. Obviously the Avengers movie was super successful, but the first Thor movie was not received that well. And like, here's a new Thor movie. How are we going to be like, okay, let's go back to the Asgardian stuff, which was not that well received. And,
yeah.
it's, it happens. Luckily, Thor in the end turns out really, really good. But you
You,
just needed like this one little misstep.
you know what? I actually have a question about what you just said about Thor. We'll get that in a second. But I think and it's also it leads back to Alan Taylor's story, which I have towards the end. But just as a tease for you, I think why this movie suffers is its script. I don't think is the strongest. Like they almost kind of don't know what to do. Like they know how to do like character moments, like with Loki, with Thor, with Frida, very well. But everything else is just kind of okay. And I'm like specifically Malekith is
Oh,
just written just very milk toast.
yep.
Uh,
It was. Yeah, I see you have it here on the notes. We'll get to Malekith, but yeah, there's a lot of um not great in this movie. But
y-
there are some pretty really good moments, really nice character moments in this movie too.
yeah. We can just go down the notes like we did last time. Just some like
Yeah,
major stuff that's happening in the movie. So the
yeah,
first one is it starts off. Well, we have the like narration scene, which is just kind of weird. But after that, we're seeing like legit the consequences of Loki's actions from Avengers, which I think is really cool. The only thing that was weird for me was when I thought about it is the timing's weird. It's been like almost 2 years since, or like a year and a half, I think, since New York, the incident in New York, and he's barely getting into trial, which I found was kind of weird because it seems like it's happening like right after New York. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know what you think there.
I think it was just because these Asgardians live for a very long time. I think just a year is just a toss in the bucket for them. So it's like, all right, let's put them in prison real quick. Okay, all right. Maybe there was unrest between all the realms. I forget really, and it
There
was like, all right,
was,
now I got yeah. All right, so like now I got time. All right, all this is happening. Thor is dealing with all that stuff. All right, I'm good right now. Loki, here's the trial. So
we also have another strange element in the movie, which is just the ether altogether, which is cool to look at, but it does end up being the reality stone, except it's not a stone, it's a liquid, and it's only for this movie, and then it just never is a liquid ever again.
yep.
And I don't know why it was like that.
I don't know either. It was a plot device. That was about it.
I I,
That's all it was.
I literally don't know what else to say about the ether because it was just like it got and I legit forgot how it got into Natalie Portman. Like I know she goes through that portal and she has like visions or something, and then she wakes up and it's in her.
Mhm.
I think that's right.
Yes, yeah. So she goes into like that space between realms, and then she touches the ether and it goes in her. Funny enough, you mentioned the script earlier. The funny thing about this script was written by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, which
I
is weird
know,
because they did Winter Soldier, Captain America. They did Civil War, both Avenger, Infinity War, and Endgame. So it's like those are really fucking good.
but it wasn't just
And
them. You know, like the Russos did a lot of the heavy lifting. I think for those movies.
yeah, and so they did a script polish on Guardians 1. They also did Pain and Gain. So,
Decent movie.
Will Beeman, I know you're out there. I know you like that movie. So that was fine. That was a fine movie.
Oh,
But yeah, it just shows that not every script's a hit.
okay. You brought it up, so I'm gonna bring it up now. We're gonna move the Alan Taylor news to right here to insert it into our conversation.
Okay.
So this week, an IGN article went live about Alan Taylor post Thor: The Dark World and how he felt. Um, essentially, the director Alan Taylor recalls losing the will to live as a director after fan backlash to Thor 2 and then Terminator Genesis. So two not so great movies back to back. And then if you read on in the article, um, it talks about one of my main issues with this movie, which is the script. I didn't know that Patty Jenkins was supposed to be directing this movie originally, and she bailed because of the script. She was like, "This is not. I don't know if I can direct this. This is not workable." And then Marvel Studios was talking about how like they wanted it to her to stick to that, so she didn't have a lot of creative freedom, which didn't jive with her, and so she left. And Taylor was like, "Okay, well then I'll work with this." So I want to get your thoughts on like just Alan Taylor all together here.
So Alan Taylor was known for basically being like really a TV guy
Mm-hmm.
before this. So he did let's see what he did: Homicide, Life on the Streets, did a few episodes of Oz, Sex and the
Sopranos.
City. He did a few Sopranos, did a few West Wing, Deadwood, obvious Mad Men. Obviously, he's known for doing Game of Thrones. That was like his big thing. That's the big stuff he was doing before Thor: The Dark World. I think that's why they brought him on because maybe like the fire, the fantasy elements may on. So he did do the episode where Ned Stark got beheaded. So maybe that was like his, oh, maybe this guy can do it. He did like the premiere for the second season. He did a few good episodes. And then he did Beyond the Wall.
Beyond the Wall.
He
Oh,
did
the episode.
yeah, it was season 7, episode 6. I think that's the one when fucking Game of Thrones. I swear. Something happened. Game of Thrones. Things happen. So I can see why, just the lead up to Thor the Dark World was very tumultuous. I think that's the word I'm looking for here. Just directors going in and out, and then probably he came up out of nowhere, just like off the bench. And then did this, try to did what he could, and obviously fan backlash. People are dicks on the internet. Let's be real. I know that most of the people who criticize these movies like this probably can't make movies like this.
Oh, for
It's really
sure.
hard to do. Yeah, like it's really hard to make movies. Really is. So it's easy for some people to like, sit on their keyboard, phone, or whatever and type out just like, oh, this sucks. You're the worst director ever. Um, but he did what he could. And you're right, the script is what makes this movie not great. Like there's not a lot of good stuff in this. Terminator Genesis, I never saw. I never
It
saw that
was not
movie.
very good. I
Um,
thought it was kind of fun, but
so
yeah.
I never saw that movie. The last Terminator movie I actually saw was Terminator 3. I didn't see the Salvation one with Christian Bale. I didn't see
Oh my god, I'm thinking of Salvation. I have not seen Genesis. Sorry,
yeah.
oops.
It's tough. Like I know he hasn't really done a bunch of stuff after this. Yeah. I think
Well,
Dark World.
he's making a movie that's coming out this year, the Sopranos prequel, The Many Saints of
Oh,
Newark.
that's right. He did. Maybe that will get some um love back because that's a solid cast.
I think that's why
People on.
they did this article is that he talks about how he had to rekindle his love for filmmaking, which I think
Mhm.
we see with the Sopranos movie that's coming out. But I love the quote that Patty Jenkins gives that I didn't even read. She did not believe that I could make a did not believe that I could make a good movie out of the script that they were planning on doing. It would have looked like it was my fault. And like she ended up being right. Like people blame Alan Taylor for Thor: The Dark World. I mean, to be fair, you are the director. You have to bring the vision of the movie to life, and like he did what he could. But oh man, I felt so bad for the guy. Like after
Yeah,
reading this,
yeah. It's just a bummer. You try to put your heart and soul in your work, and when it's okay. Like if your movie isn't received well and it's like, all right, here's constructive criticism about it. Okay, here's the problems I have with the movie. But when you turn it into, hate and vitriol and stuff, I mean, it's just a movie. That's all it
yeah,
is. It's like, as much as I love Marvel MCU, they're just movies. That's all they are. So it's got to suck. So I hope people I don't really like Sopranos that much, but I hope people like his movie. And I hope, yeah, I hope he keeps making movies because that's what he loves to do. So
Alan Taylor catch this dub. We're we're all rooting for you over here at the Penultimate
you
Conquest.
did what you could, Alan Taylor.
Yeah.
There's only so much the script allowed.
Let's talk about a few characters in this movie. Let's start with just Thor in general. I kind of like this version of Thor, like for the most part. Like, he's a little bland. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like it's kind of a boring take on Thor, but like every time he's like stoic or like a person that has like this, you know, worthy of being this hammer. He's honorable. Like I enjoy those parts of it. Like he's doing his best with what he's given, and I don't have any issues with him at all.
Yeah. Right here, I think you have the yeah, Stoic Thor. Yeah, he's fine. I think the costuming improved definitely over Avengers and Thor
Yeah,
1. So like Thor 1 looks so bad, the hair and everything. It was bad. The costume was fine. Avengers, it gets a little better. You know, the hair gets a little longer. This one, Thor: Dark World, still has some braids and stuff, and like the costume looks really good in this one. The Thor outfit looks really good. So he looks like really like Thor in this movie, I think. But
The braids
it
are
was,
so cool.
yeah, it was fine. That's what it was. I thought Thor was okay. Um, just trying to reach out to Loki in some parts, which were really good. Obviously, the Thor Loki moments are the best, some of the best parts of the MCU. But I don't know. Thor definitely gets better. It's no Ragnarok or Infinity War, but it was fine. It was being Thor. And this is around the time I think people thought like, oh my god, Thor's obviously the worst
Oh yeah,
part of the MCU.
people
Like,
thought that after Thor 1, which was a
yeah,
surprise to me because I enjoyed Thor 1.
yeah, because I remember we talked about 2 weeks ago with Avengers. I remember when Thor jumped on the Quinjet when he introduced, everyone was clearing and everyone was cheering and clapping. So I guess this is the one where it's just like the Thor brand, quote unquote, really took a hit with this movie. Um, because it's just there's not much to it. Like we don't.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, like Joss Whedon knew how to like at least make Thor kind of a comedic character. Like he's not like dumb, kind of like he is in he's a little bit dumb in Ragnarok, but like he's making jokes in Avengers. I don't get that in Thor: The Dark World really. Like I don't see any other side to him other than just like I am Thor. I don't know. And then even Natalie Portman, which I love Natalie Portman and Kat Dennings. Like Kat Dennings is like thank God for her in this movie. I enjoy watching her. But Natalie Portman just kind of reduced to just this girl that needs saving up until like the very end, which is such a bummer.
Yeah, I think that could have been like one of the reasons why she bowed out after it. Because I remember she was very pissed that Patty Jenkins left, if I remember correctly. Um, so I think that was like her. All right, I'm done after this movie. I'm not going to be in the MCU anymore. Fuck that. But yeah,
Oh, you're right.
yeah, she basically was just like, "Yep, I got something in me. It's an escort mission. This movie, um, pretty much what it is." Um,
An escort mission.
so yeah, that's all she is. And so I can see why people didn't like Jane. This was not. She was much better in Thor 1. Like she had purpose. Is
Mm-hmm.
what she was doing. Like I am a fucking physicist. I'm gonna figure this shit out. And this one is just, oh no, I went into the Gary place and now I have something in me. All right, that's pretty much all I got. So
Even Eric Selvig is like just kind of reduced to just a joke.
mhm,
I still have not found it funny when he's like running around Stonehenge naked. I was like, oh, why is this here?
mhm.
There's also Odin, who I noted in my notes that like he felt too too mean in this. I call him a xenophobic in this just because like Jane shows up in Asgard and he's like, what is she doing here? Get her out of here. They've got their own scientists in their places. They're called doctors. Like let them deal with her. It's like dude, like what? This is your son's like love interest here. Like she has the ether inside of her. Take
I
care
think
of
he
this
didn't know
woman.
that at that time. And then like it went out, then the ether, at that moment
True.
went out, and then he was like, "Oh, whoa, hold on." So yeah, I see what you're saying. Odin was a little bit of a dick.
He's not
Um,
the warm Odin that I kind of knew from the beginning of Thor 1 and the beginning of Thor 3.
yeah. So yeah, Odin was weird in this one.
Let's talk about Frida a little bit because she's I think one of the strongest points of this movie. Just an overall badass. Sees that Thor cares for Jane, so she's like naturally I care about Jane too. So like come with me, girl. I'll take care of you. Does so in like the coolest way, and then ultimately sacrifices herself for
Are you
Jane.
saying Frida or Frigga?
Is it Frigga?
It's Frigga.
Oh, thank you so much. I wrote Frida the entire time.
Gotcha.
Frigga with a G,
Yeah, two G's.
two G's. Okay, thank you so much.
Mhm.
And then Loki's last words to his mom are just like it
Oh
hit
my
me
god.
after. It's like you're not my mother, and that's like the last time they ever spoke to each other. That's gotta be
Mhm.
brutal for Loki.
And
I
then
never realized that. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to, before I forget, like, and especially when the scene in Loki when he sees like, oh, You might want to take the stairs to the left." He didn't know his mom was up there, and that caused his mom to die. So yeah, like you definitely. Oh man, you're right. She is the goat of this movie. She
Yeah,
was the best part.
there's that one scene where Thor shows up to, bust Loki out of prison. And Thor's like, enough of your games. And he reveals his true self. And I'm dumb. The first time I saw this movie, I was like, oh, he's just like really tired of being in prison. Like he's going insane in there. No, he was like so angry at himself for like the last conversation that he had with his mother that she's now dead. He's in grief. And I was like, fuck, that scene is like the aftermath of this scene is really good. I really enjoy this.
That's the best scene in the whole movie, where it's like enough of the games, and then you just see Loki for what he really is at this moment in time. And so, yeah, that was. Oh, and especially like I know, well, like when Frigga gets killed, as much as this movie is blamed for some things, that was so cool when Thor just came out of nowhere, just blasted Malekith in the face
In the
with
fate,
lightning. Oh my god, it was so cool.
it's kind of tragic too, because if you were to show up, God, I don't know, 5, 10 seconds earlier, he could have potentially stopped Malekith, but he was just scratched too late, and like she died. It's brutal.
Mhm. Oh, it was, and then you got because I know. Let's see, we have. Okay, I see the Malekith. Okay, I see the Malekith part. But yeah, and especially like her funeral scene was very pretty. Um,
Oh, when
when the
she's getting
boat
like the
went out on the
Vikings
water.
funeral, yeah.
Yeah, like that was a very beautiful shot. And so it's another example of like there are a lot of fun, good moments in this movie that is just outweighed by the overarching plot, which is not that great.
hmm I want to bring up the cameo of Stan Lee when they're getting Eric Selvig out of the mental hospital, and Stan Lee is there. I forget what he says.
Yeah, can I have my shoe back?
That's right. Yeah, quirky Stan Lee cameo. Not my favorite,
Mhm.
but like glad he got to speak in this one.
We will definitely rank it a little bit later.
hmm We also have, I think, well, of course it's him, right? A Chris Evans cameo when Loki transforms into Captain America for just that brief moment.
That was really good because it's like Chris Evans is playing Loki, playing Captain America. So that was fun. I remember that scene in the movie got a big like laugh and cheer when Chris Evans showed up.
Yeah, and
So yeah, it was fun.
it kind of made me think of Thor 3, and honestly how some of the best like moments, why the MCU is so strong is that they're able to utilize all these characters from their other movies and each other's movies. So like the Hulk is able to show up in Thor Ragnarok, and they're able to have like a story together. Thor the Dark World just seems so isolated. And for a good reason, like it's a story about like Thor and his brother and his mom. But we kind of got that already in Thor 1. Like there's no way you could do it with another MCU character in it, but it just reminds me of how great those stories are. Like once we get into like phase 3.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. And then we of course have the moment that I mentioned earlier, which is when Thor and Loki are teaming up, which is a very well done action scene. I think when they're fighting together, they're fighting against Malekith on this like liminal space where all the stuff is going, all the shoes, the cars, etc.
S- Yeah, Svartalheim, I think is what the place is,
Svartalheim,
the realm.
one of the realms.
Hmm.
Yeah, and audiences don't know, but obviously Thor and Loki do. They set up this cool moment where they essentially trick Malekith by thinking that Thor has like lost his arm in battle, and then he gets it back and calls the hammer in, and it's just like what a cool moment.
I remember that the boat scene. When they take Loki out of Asgard was really cool. With the Warriors 3. Um,
And Zach
you
Levi.
know, yeah, Zachary Levi was in this. You're right. Josh Dallas wasn't in this movie. So yeah, it was fun. Oh, I forgot about this part. One of the funniest moments in the movie where when they take Loki out, and every single time it's like, if you betray him, let me guess, you'll kill me. Evidently, there will be a line. I thought that was great. But yeah, just the boats when they were in Svartalheim. and they had like their conversation with one another, or it's like, like I'd do anything for you, Loki, but you're you basically. Um,
Oh, dude, Thor has that line where he says, "I wish I could trust you," and that line I think hits very deep. I love these two brothers. You know what I
oh,
mean?
they're so good. They're so good together.
Mm-hmm. More of them throughout the movie, I think, would have been stronger. Which leads
Mm.
me to my last question, which is Malekith. What do you think of him as a
Oof.
villain?
You'll find out later when we rank the villains, but it was so just. I'm a dark elf. I'm gonna make the world dark. That's what I'm gonna do. That's all. That's really all he was. There was nothing 3D about him. He was there. He showed up. Curse was in this movie. He was just big, dumb, punch things, dude. And it was not. I have nothing to say about Malekith. He's boring.
I mean,
Like I'm sorry.
even Ronan the Accuser, I think, who essentially is kind of the same archetype, still has way more of like a well defined character, kind of like he's
Yeah,
more dynamic than Malekith.
yeah. Because with Ronan was like, look, I'm a Kree general. Our laws, our ways. It doesn't matter what happens. We're gonna do what we can to, save it, quote unquote Kree Empire. And, he feels like a little redheaded stepchild with I don't know why I haven't used that phrase in a while. Um, to Thanos, where it's like, oh, I'm just not a little kid anymore, dude. Like I'll fuck you up when I get this power stone. But Malekith literally was just, yep, I want to get that thing and make the world dark. That's all. Nothing. I was literally just a roadblock in this movie. So yeah, Malekith. Oh, it's such a waste of Christopher Eccleston too,
Mm-hmm.
because he's so good. And it was interesting, like they wrote like that language for them to speak. I thought that was cool, but then doesn't really get used at all. The fight scene between Malekith and Thor was pretty cool. Them jumping all over the place.
Oh,
I
you're
thought that was neat.
crazy. Yeah, I thought it was like, let's get this over with, and then
It
and then
was
it ends very quickly.
it was fun. I thought it was fun. Then when they jump on top of the giant building, the glass building, and slide down and punching each other, it was fun. So that's all I got to say on Malekith.
I guess it does. That does kind of lead to some funny stuff with Kat Dennings and then her intern, the intern's intern. I can't remember his name, but that's kind of funny when they end up kissing.
Yeah, meow meow. We get the meow meow.
Oh yeah, she just says it as it like flies. Yeah, forgot about that. But yeah, I would say even like it just ends so quickly. Like Thor's just like I can run in there, and he does. His arms, Malekith's arms get like blown off via
Yep.
the I don't know what it MacGuffin they're
The
using. I
yeah
forget
the devices they
the
use.
device, and then Thor's just like haha, and it's done.
Yep,
And the movie
that's what we got.
promptly ends after.
Mm.
And we get a great scene. Actually, that's not true. We get a great scene of Thor and what we think to be Odin. About like not wanting the throne. I think it's kind of a bummer that it ends up being Loki because I think that conversation is actually really well done between the two. But I mean, it just shows how good Loki is at acting as other people.
Yeah, but it also like Loki was. I think partially that was Loki on the inside as well. Like like even though we disagree on time, you're still Thor. You're still my brother. I still love you very much. I'm very proud of you for what you did. I think a little bit of that is in there. I know he's trying to be Odin, but deep down, I think Um, Loki loves Thor very much. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And we get more of that in Thor 3.
Mhm.
That's about it. I think I have one more note, which is just the mid credit scene. We get Benicio del Toro as a collector, which reminded me, oh my god, we're getting Guardians of the Galaxy soon.
Mhm.
We're almost
Yeah,
in.
that mid credit scene was actually really good, because we don't really know about the stones. This is the first time we heard about the Infinity Stones. Was this movie, because we had the Tesseract, but we didn't know it was a stone.
Sure.
And then we have the ether. We don't know it's a stone yet. And at the end, it's like
Well,
it's not what.
in hindsight, there's a note that they say at the beginning when they talk about the ether. They say how the others are stones. This one is not. I think Odin says that.
Maybe I forgot that.
I
Either way,
promise you.
it was cool to hear them say, "It's not wise to keep two Infinity Stones right next to each other." I was like, "Oh my god, we're doing it!" And then when Benicio goes one down, 5 to go, I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, let's go!" Oh man, I'm getting chills thinking about that right now.
I
That was so fun.
I do think that line is a little corny for Benicio del Toro. Like it's cool when Thanos does it, when Benicio does it, it's like, all right, what are we doing here?
But that was directed by James Gunn. I didn't realize that until
Really?
the post credit scene was directed by James Gunn.
That's really cool. When is the first time we see the first version of Thanos when he's like, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
That was Ultron. But
Ultron.
we got Guardians, we got Thanos and Guardians, like the full decked out Thanos.
That's true.
In
Yeah,
Guardians. That's the first time we see him.
that's right. That's right. I mean, I didn't say it, but when I was watching this movie, I was like, "Huh, this is the last like truly bottom tier." I mean, there are other like bottom tier movies, I'm
Yeah.
sure, but like this is basically the hump. Like from now on, it's mostly good stuff from here on out. Like the MCU is like steady after this like strong 7/8s, and then later down like just nines altogether.
Yeah.
So
Um
what's our
so
next movie?
Rube next movie is Captain America Winter Soldier. Let's go. That's gonna be a fun one. All right, since Ruben's not here, do you want to do the Stan Lee cameo?
Yeah, let me read you what we got so
What?
far. Number 7 is Iron Man 2 as Larry King. Number 6, The Incredible Hulk, the old man dying. Number 5, Iron Man 3, the beauty pageant judge. Number 4, Iron Man as Hugh Hefner. Number 3, Captain America, the First Avenger as the White House Medal of Honor commentator who says, "I thought it'd be taller," which Ruben loves saying so much because it makes him laugh.
Right.
Number 2, the Avengers, the superheroes in New York. Give me a break. And number 1, our famous number 1 from Thor, the pickup truck guy trying to lift the hammer. Where do we rank this one? It's the
All right. So I have to think here. He actually gets a line to say in this movie, whereas Iron Man 4 through 7, he doesn't have any lines. He's just there. So is it because he has a line that makes it better than those?
I like the smiling Hugh Hefner of him with the 10 like all horny and stuff at the beauty pageant in Iron Man 3 way more than I do the "Can I get my shoe back?"
You know what? Okay, you sold me right there. All right, that's
Yeah?
good.
Okay.
Right below Iron Man 3. I'm okay with that.
Thor: The Dark World. Um Can I get my shoe back? Mental hospital.
Yep,
We did it.
I think that's a good one.
Alrighty. It's villain time.
All right, guys, like we always say, what good is heroes without some good villains? And so I think this one's going to be pretty easy this week, but I still need to go over the rest of the list. At number 8, we have Abomination slash Thunderbolt Ross from The Incredible Hulk. At number 7, we have Whiplash slash Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2. Number 6, we have Aldrich Killian from Iron Man 3. Number 5, we have Obadiah Stane from Iron Man. Number 4, we have Red Skull from Captain America: The First Avenger. Number 3, we have Taskmaster slash Dreykov from Black Widow. Number 2, we have Loki from Thor, and number 1, we have Loki from Avengers. I don't think we really need to talk about this one that much because I think this is on the bottom.
Number 9, right? This is the
This
word,
is
yeah.
easily number 9 because at least like with Thunderbolt Ross, there was some history between him and Hulk. And the Abomination fight was really fucking cool.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and this one, it was just nope.
Also, like Abomination, as a viewer, like I'm scared of thinking about him. Malekith, I'm not afraid of,
Yeah,
and that shouldn't be
just
the
a
case.
goth elf. That's all he is,
Yeah.
but not a cool one.
All right, I love how easy it's been so far. I don't know if it's gonna be as easy for me here, but we'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It is time to finally rank the Marvel movies so far. Let me read you the list, the current list. Number 8, The Incredible Hulk. Number 7, Thor. Number 6, Iron Man 2. Number 5, Iron Man 1. Number 4, Iron Man 3. Number 3, Black Widow. Number 2, Captain America, the First Avenger. And number 1, The Avengers. Eric, where does this fall for you, and why?
I have it right now. It's going to be second to last.
So
Incredible Hulk
above,
over the Incredible Hulk.
but before Thor 1.
Yeah. So I think, like we talked about, I think the Loki Thor moments are really, really freaking good in this movie. And that's what, and the Frigga stuff is obviously really good. But everything else was just bland, just bad plot. Whereas Thor, you have that nice Shakespearean,
Mhm.
worthiness tale, learning to be humble. I thought it was really good. And so yeah, that's where I stand right now. I think number 8, right over the Incredible Hulk.
See, that was my first, like where I would place it too initially. And now that I'm staring at the list, I'm like, did I have more fun during the Hulk though? Like we get the cool chasing during the favela. We get like the fight in the college. We get what's her name? Steven Tyler's daughter, Liv
Uh,
Tyler,
yeah,
who I really enjoy. Yeah, sure, Edward Norton's kind of a dud here, but do I
I
care about
think,
these characters more than I do in Thor: The Dark World? I don't know.
but I think like in Thor: The Dark World, that Thor Loki relationship, and especially the moments they have together, is what really sells it. Because obviously there was cooler fight scenes in the Hulk, but all the characters in the Hulk were basically just. Ugh. Whereas in this one, I know the script wasn't great, but like when Thor and Loki are together, it's so strong. And the
Mm-hmm.
Frigga Thor relationship, the Frigga Loki relationship, where like you starting to get the cracks of Loki. He's not a bad guy. Not really. He's got a lot of problems. And like you see kind of like his mother taught him how to use magic. You learn that in this movie. So like that mother relationship with him is really strong. So I think that's what gives it the edge over the Incredible Hulk for me.
I think you sold me. I think the stuff with, yeah, it reminded me of how enthralled I was when Loki and like Frigga are talking, and then just anything to do with Frigga altogether in this movie. Like I really, like I was enthralled, like staring at my screen. So I think you're right. I agree. I'm doing it as number 8. So the new list goes as follows. We're almost at a top 10.
Yeah, Thor:
That
Dark World
oh,
top 10 MCU movie for 2 weeks.
God. Number 9, The Incredible Hulk. Number 8, Thor: The Dark World. 7, Thor. 6, Iron Man 2. 5, Iron Man. Number 4, Iron Man 3. Number 3, Black Widow. Number 2, Captain America: The First Avenger. And number 1, The Avengers. Not so bad so far.
No, I do know we're gonna have a shakeup at the top for next week. Um, so stu tune in, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna. Well, I don't want to spoil anything. Potentially a new number one next
Yeah,
week.
I was going to say the same thing. We just might. Before we end the show,
So
Eric, thank you for coming on. Is there anything you would like to plug today?
I would like to plug the fact that um, tomorrow, everyone who is interested in Avengers stuff, the Avengers game, War for Wakanda expansion comes out tomorrow with Black Panther and Wakanda. I saw the war table today. It looks really good. Also, highly recommend if you get the chance to go watch Greg Miller's interview with the cast. It's really, really good.
I heard it was a good
Um,
interview.
yeah, it talks about how important this character is. Black Panther is a very important character for a lot of people, and so it was very nice to listen to some of that. So, Avengers is starting to get me in a good place right now. Still got a little bit to go, but from what people have been saying, this is probably gonna be the jump it gets. Like this is gonna be the Avengers taking the king for the Destiny equivalent. So I think the Avengers is on sale right now. Pick it up. It's a fun game. It's got a lot of heart. So that's all I gotta say. I'm very excited to play as Black Panther tomorrow.
That is true. People who like have that game do kind of enjoy grinding in the game. Like it's just kind of fun just to hang out with people, turn your brain off a little bit, and just play as an Avenger.
Yep. I did find also I read an interview. They are not making it like a Avengers are here to save the day. Like no, Black Panther and Wakandans are gonna do a lot to protect their country, which I thought was nice. Like we don't need the Avengers coming in to save the day all the time. So like
I like that.
really cool about that. Yeah.
That's cool. Alrighty, you can follow me at ISO Christian over on Twitter for some sweet nasty gym thirst picks. and whatever random BS I'm tweeting about, like, should I buy Tinder Gold? I don't know. You can also
I don't think you need it.
No, I forgot to delete the tweet too, but it's still up there. You can also follow my movie podcast at Large Popcorn. New episode on The Green Knight this week. So if you need two people to talk about the postmodern reading of the chivalric text, there you have it. You can listen there. And I also do a weekly gaming podcast. It's episode 100 this week of Podcast PXN. Got some giveaways there. So if you're looking for potentially pick up some Game Pass
Nice
codes, you can do so on Wednesday. Otherwise, this has been MCU Rewind. Until next time, folks. Excelsior.